In this lesson, we'll add more to our code to make sure that our window does not get duplicated every time we run our tool. We encountered a slight problem in the last lesson. Every time we run our tool, a new window gets made. So let's go ahead and prevent that from happening. We'll need to add just a few lines to our code. Let's get back to our script editor, and right after our instructions, we'll first declare the variable that's used to create our window. If we do not do this, whenever we restart Maya and try to use this tool, the system won't know what variable we're referring to. So in order to declare it, it's as simple as typing in string, and we'll have that equal to our variable. So it's going to be obj aligner. All right. Next, what we need to do is say that if there is a copy of the window, go ahead and remove it, and then create a brand new window. In order to do that, we need to work with an if statement. So let's go ahead and start to type this in. That's going to be if. Then following that, we'll go ahead and use our window command so we can search for the window we'd like to remove. So that's going to be mc.window. And now we'll put our open and close parentheses. Within, we need to tell the system that we'd like to search for this window, see if it exists. So in order to do that, we'd put in the name of our variable first. Let's go ahead and copy that. Then that's going to be comma, space, and then we'd use the flag to find if this window exists. That's going to be ex, and we'll have that equal to true, since it's a Boolean flag. All right, great. Now, if you're familiar with mel, you know that this is actually in reverse order here. With mel, we'd add the exist flag first, and then following that, we'd search for the window. All right, so after our if statement, we need to put a colon, just as we would for a for loop, or just as we've done down here when we created a function that actually runs our tool. All right, so once we have that colon in place, we can now hit enter on our keyboard so we can go ahead and move to the next line and use the delete UI command to go ahead and remove any copies of the window. So we'll type in mc.delete UI. We'll add our parentheses, and within, we need to add the name of our variable. Let's go ahead and copy that, paste, and then we need to tell the system that this is a window that we'd like to remove. So we'll put our comma, a space, and we'll type in window, and we'll have this equal to true. All right, now watch this. Let's go ahead and try to run it. We'll go ahead and highlight everything and hit enter. You'll see that, yes, we have a window. What happens if we try to run this again? Let's go ahead and test this out. There we have it. So no longer do we create copies of this window. All right, sweet. So what I'd recommend that you do now is just go through and start commenting each line of code that you'll need to, so that if you ever have to access this again and you're trying to figure out, hey, what does this do? Well, from each commented line, you know exactly what each line of your code does. Just a way of organizing things so that you don't have a headache trying to figure out what this tool is. All right, so here's an example. We can go to this very first line here, right before our obj aligner declaration. And we can go ahead and type in a hash mark. And we can say that this declares variable, and then we can put in the variable name, obj aligner. And then when we get to the next line here, we can add another hash mark, and we can say that this prevents any duplications of our window. So again, this prevents the duplication of our window. So you get the idea, but we most certainly want to do this, again, just to make sure that we know exactly what each line of our code does. Now, even before this, remember, once we reopen Maya, we need to make sure that we import in our Maya command module. So if you want to, you can always go to the very first line, so we can shift everything down and go to line 1, and we can go ahead and type in that import command. So that's import space maya.cmds as MC. Beautiful. All right, so now every time we open up Maya and we run this tool, it will always work. Great stuff. So let's say we go ahead and highlight all of this. Press Control C to copy it. We can now go to our tool on the shelf, choose Edit. We'll now go ahead and highlight everything here and paste. Great, so now we can go to Shelves and choose Save All Shelves to update all changes. And remember, we'd want to save this out as well. So we can choose File, Save Script. We can navigate to our Scripts directory. And we can go ahead and overwrite our alignment tool. Sweet, so whenever we want to load it back in, it's just a matter of going to File, Load Script. We'll head over to our Scripts folder. There it is. And we'd go ahead and open it up. So any scripting that you have done inside of the script field is going to be overwritten by the script that you load in. So that's something to keep in mind. If you need to, you could always right-click and choose New Tab, and you can create a new Python tab so you can start to experiment with more code and build more tools without having to worry about all of your code disappearing and being overwritten by a code that you load in. All right, so just something very important to keep in mind. All right, well, we have finished our alignment tool. Super exciting. We have one more tool to build, so let's go to move to the next lesson and get to it.